Welcome back. In my last video, I went to analyze some of my backlog of rapid games on Lichess, but I only made it through 6 games, and I had a lot more than that to go through, so I'm going to go through some more. If you're not familiar with what I do here, I'm just trying to get better at chess, and I try to just click record before I start so that some of you might get some benefit out of this too, but also just to document my process. So I hope it makes sense that most of this is for me, and I will try to explain what I'm thinking about and talk out loud, but mainly I'm just going through my games trying to learn from my mistakes. Okay, in this game, the graph at the bottom says that I was ahead pretty much the whole time, but I did have a few mistakes and a couple of blunders. It looks like we started out with the Scandinavian. That always gives white an advantage fairly early on. I think I did okay with it. My opponent made a mistake or an inaccuracy right here, which puts me at +2. But then I made a mistake on the next turn. I played bishop to c4, and I should have done something else. It's clear that my opponents wasted some time by putting their h and a pawns one square forward. Perhaps, obviously, the idea was to keep me from putting my bishops here on b5 and g5. But it looks like they were just kind of wasting time. And I don't know if they were trying to turn the Scandinavian into the cow defense or the hippo or something, but it definitely looks like somebody wasn't familiar with it. But I don't know. I was just developing here in order to castle. But that was a mistake that took us back closer to even. Should I have just moved it forward 1 or just moved it forward 2? Or should I have pushed the pawn immediately? I bet that's it. I'm going to click the lines here. Okay, I should have just pushed the pawn to d5, and that would have given me almost +3, because the knight would have had to go somewhere at that point. It could have gone back to a7. I suppose it could have gone over here. Oh, the line has changed now. It says it should have gone back to its home square. Okay, so I should have just pushed the pawn. Got it. And now I'm going to just click forward to my next mistake. There was a couple of inaccuracies. My opponent made another mistake, and now I'm up +3 inaccuracy. I'm not going to bother with those because, again, I was ahead the whole time. Okay, here I'm up +3. I do know that the lines are on there, and I also know that in the right column it tells me what my moves should be, but I have avoided looking at that through practice. I think what I played here was f4, but that wasn't the move. Can I challenge the queen? No, the bishop would be undefended there and there, so it's not that. I could challenge the knight, but the pawn would be undefended at that point. What should I have done? Just move the rook out? Or should I have challenged? No, I shouldn't have challenged the queen immediately because their knight guards that square. I am really not sure here, certainly not seeing it as quickly as I saw the last one. I mean, I guess I could move this bishop out of danger. I kind of thought there might be a trade here, so I was just leaving it there for the moment. The reason, I think, again, if I remember right, I played f4 here. The reason is because their queen and their rook are pointed right there at h2, and I did see that. I'm not sure why this is an inaccuracy and why I'm so far ahead here. They're obviously threatening mate. Should I have just pushed that pawn up 1? Well, but then they could have taken here, and if I took back, then they would have mate. But, no. If they took here, I wouldn't take with the pawn. I would take with the queen. Okay, so I'm going to guess h3. No, g3 would have been fine, it says. Or h3. Okay. f4 was my third best move, yeah, and that is what I played. Okay. g3 was best because it blocks the queen's path here. And I guess it would allow my bishop to circle back around behind the g-pawn. Well, I got close. h3 was close to g3. And I can still guard, like I said, still guard the light squares with the bishop. Okay. That was a mistake. My opponent made another mistake here going after the bishop. It was my best move to bring it all the way back. They made a further mistake by castling there, and then my next move is a blunder. I did catch it before I looked away. I think it said a3. Why did I play a3? Probably because I was building up toward b4. I'm just going to guess. To stop those pawns from doing anything, or maybe to eventually push here so that I could come around this way. I don't know. But I'm guessing a3 was preparing a b4 push to force that knight back, although it could have come in here, but then we would have traded. But yeah, I think it was a mistake to castle over there because it's already so open, but I don't know what I should have played instead. I guess I could have dropped this bishop back to threaten the rook. That would have left this, oh, yeah, see, currently both the bishop and the rook are guarding this, but if I dropped that bishop back, it blocks the rook from seeing it and removes the bishop from it. So if I did this, that pawn would be hanging. Oh, but they wouldn't take it with the queen because the rook's in danger. They would take it with the rook. Okay, so yeah, it's not that. Is it maybe something like this, queen to d4? Because let's see, that's not Yeah, that's not attacked by any of the enemy pieces. It's backed up by the bishop, and I could start aiming down here. I'm going to guess it was that. Okay, that was my third best move. Queen to e1, which I assume threatens the rook. Or b4 now. Okay, I don't get b4. I do get queen to e1. I don't think I would have thought of it. But not only does it threaten the rook, when the rook moves back someplace, it's threatening this undefended knight. So I guess I could then move my knight out of the way. If they took it, then I would take theirs over here and be preparing to come in this way. Queen to e1. But yeah, I don't get b4. It says they would just take it. And then I would play a3. Wait, but then nothing would be protecting my knight. And it says they would take that too, and I would still be way ahead. I'm only up a pawn here. Okay, yeah, I don't get that second line at all. I do get this one, I guess. It puts an extra defender there. It's threatening to come down to their to a7. But the second line I don't get. Give up a pawn, so we're even on material. Then basically force their queen to take my knight. So I would be down a knight. And then it says I would play bishop to d4, which would protect the rook and the knight. Not really threatening that knight because it's protected. What in the world? And then it says they would take this pawn. So they would be up 4 points of material after that. I don't understand how, and I forget it. I was ahead here. My mistake. Sorry, my blunder. I'm still ahead after my blunder. Okay. My opponent blundered. We did okay for a little while, and it looks like the next blunder is mine. I played queen to a4 here. Why did I do that? Well, my queen's in danger, so I had to move it somewhere. And let's see, I guess I could have just moved it up one and lined it up with this bishop. Could have moved it up 2 and traded off the queens, because I'm up 2 pawns now. I could have moved it up 3. So I don't understand what's so bad about that, other than they can attack it with their knight. But then I can come over here and check. Okay, but that was listed as a blunder. What should I have done instead? Surely I shouldn't have just taken the rook or left my queen there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4 other options to keep the queen safe, or I could have forced a queen trade here. I don't know which one of those is best. It says queen to a7 is best. That's what I should have played. Don't know why. Anybody know why that's best? Oh, I know why that's best. My bishop is hanging. Right now, my bishop is in danger. And I moved here, which didn't protect that bishop. And did they take it? They did. Okay. But I was still ahead. I played here. I'm still ahead +2. Their best move is to take the bishop. Okay, I get that now. Definitely get that. How am I still ahead? Because I win the knight back here. So wait, why was that worse than the other way? I don't know. I guess the other way they just wouldn't have taken it. If they had blocked with the queen, that would have been made. Their only other legal move was to go here, which is what they did. And then I took the knight. Is that my best move? It was. Okay. All right, my opponent made a mistake, and then here I made a mistake too. My mistake was bringing this bishop down. I think it's because I saw some their pieces headed down here, and I thought, why not put an extra defender on that square? But I guess I already have multiple defenders on that square. It says rook f to d1 is my best move. Or rook a to d1. Either one of my rooks to d1 is my best move right now. But then, and it says they would have taken at that point. Oh, of course they would, because they would get both my rooks for the queen, and I would still be ahead. That kind of goes against the material counting, and I know the material counting is not always valid 100%, but I'm pretty sure I've heard and been told that in most cases, 2 rooks are worth a queen. But I don't know. Yeah, Stockfish says, even though I'm up just 2 pawns, I have a +4 advantage if I'll put one of my rooks on d1. Okay, well, I did this instead, but leaves me with +2. My opponent should have come here. Really? That's what they should have done. But instead they tried to hide their king, which I perfectly understand. That's a blunder, which gives me a huge advantage. Again, I need to put a rook here, either one, and I did. Okay, did I have any more mistakes in this game? I did have one more. Here I played queen to b3. Why did I do that? I don't know. It doesn't look like that does anything. Probably should have put my bishop back here. It was there at one point, and then I brought it back. But I probably should have threatened the queen. Because moving my queen here doesn't do anything. That pawn's already defended. That pawn's already defended. But this pawn isn't. So moving my queen there defends all 3 pawns. I am going to guess it was bishop to e2. It was not. It was rook to d8 or queen to c3, which would protect all three of those pawns, just like it would on b3, but b3 was a mistake. c3 or d3 would have been better than what I played, significantly better. But the best would have been putting the rook down here. But I played that, it takes us down to +3. Half my advantage is gone, because it allows e5. I don't know. I'm still up 2 pawns here. If they play that, I'll take it, and I assumed they would take back, and I would still be up 2 pawns. But they didn't. They played c5 instead. Oh, I'm supposed to just play c4. I just took it, because my queen's protected. I didn't think they would trade here, but they did. No, they didn't. Sorry. They took the pawn, which was their best move, because it's also a check. Okay, did I have any more mistakes? My opponent did, and my opponent had another one, but I did not have any more mistakes. They resigned in this position because I'm pretty sure they're going to move over, and then I'm going to, no, then I'm going to take here. They'll have to come up, and then I would get their queen. Okay. Ooh, but again, I was ahead the whole time. I don't understand why in a couple of those instances, and as you saw, I'm not sure exactly why some of those moves were better. But one of the reasons I do this, and I keep going even when I don't understand, I don't want to spend too much time on one that I don't understand, because A, that's going to waste my brain power if I don't ever get it, and 2, I need the time to go on to the stuff that I might understand, the future ones. And my hope is that the ones that I didn't understand, the position might float around in my brain for a little bit. Let's go on to the second game. All right, here in this second game, I had the black pieces, and I didn't win, but I did have a big chance late in the game, according to the graph. I'm just going to skip to that spot. The little thing down here, on the side, which I can't scroll far enough down for you to read, says I had 3 mistakes and 2 blunders, but it looks like only one was really significant, and that was right here where I played f6. Okay, and I did not see what the best move was. I played f6 because it looked like they had multiple pieces on this, but this is the only place in the latter half of the game where I had a chance. I'm going to guess it was I should have taken the queen. Yes, I should have taken the queen with check. And the reason is this knight's not pinned because that's check. After they take back or move out of check, I just, someplace, I don't know where, I would just get my queen out of danger. Or no, I would take the bishop, right? Yeah, I would get both of them. Oh my goodness. I would get the queen for a knight, and then I would get the bishop for free. And my opponent would come out of this with a pawn at best. Wow, and I played that? Oh my. And let's go on to the third game. All right, this is the third game. I did lose this one to an opponent rated more than 100 points higher than me, so you don't expect to win all of those for sure. The graph shows that we were even up until about here. Looks like we are about even on material. I have a passed pawn, but I guess I could move it forward and win the bishop. Don't know if that's what I did or not because I haven't looked at the move list yet. What did I play here? I played that there. Okay, that wasn't bad. We're still close to even. That's not bad either. That's not bad. We're still close to even. And then here I blundered. Okay, it's at h4. What should I have done instead? I have no idea. Rook to d6. That's here. Rook to d6. It's the only move that keeps us close to even, but my opponent will still have a very slight advantage. I'm not certain because I'm no expert, but it looks like the advantage comes either from this. They have an extra pawn. Right now, we both have, these pawns over here, no, they don't have an extra pawn yet. We're even on material, but they're about to have an extra pawn. That much is clear. They're going to get their king here, and then they will have an extra pawn, and it's this one. Also because the board is mostly open, and in which case a bishop, I guess, is more powerful than a knight most of the time. It's definitely keeping my king from coming out this way. That's one reason I played h4, is to have a way to get my king out on a dark square. But rook to d6, I'm not sure what that would have accomplished. It's obvious from their last move. Their next move is going to be here. And then what would I do? It says they would play king d7, then I would play rook to b6. Wait, and it says they would bring their king out that way? No, they wouldn't. And I would protect my knight with the pawn move? No, that's not what would happen. If I played here, I'm pretty sure. If I played here, which it said was my best move, king to e7 is their best move. And then it said I would play here, and I'm pretty sure, it doesn't say that here, but I'm pretty sure they were aiming to take this pawn. That's the reason they put the king here, not to come around and threaten my knight, which they knew I could protect. They have 3 pieces on this pawn. And now I only have one defender of it. And yes, if they take it, I get this one Oh, and then I would have a passed pawn. Would that be such a bad move for them? It would take us closer to even, and yeah, I was going to get this one. That's what I was pretty sure was going to happen. And then it says their best move is to put this bishop on the back rank or go after the knight again. But if they go after the knight again, then I'm going to trade it for the bishop, and I have a passed pawn. Like this. They're going to take it. I'm not going to get in front of my pawn. I thought I would get in front of it to keep their rook from getting on it. But it says either I'm supposed to bring my king now. Oh, yeah, so I don't get back ranked. That's why I wouldn't get in front of the pawn. I have to either move my king here so it can escape a mate or bring the rook down here to get behind the pawn. In that case, they're going to get in front of it, and then I'm going to get behind it. Stockfish can't decide if I should get behind it or beside it or play h4. Well, I played h4 earlier, and that was really bad. That's the move that I played, and it gave my opponent a -2. But that was if they played f6, which they didn't. They did that. And then I had another blunder here. It said I played g4, but I already looked at the lines. I should have played rook to c1. And again, I don't know why, because it was clear they were lining up 3 pieces on this. Oh, I guess it's saying go here because you can't stop them from taking that. Rook to c1, they would take my pawn, and I would take their bishop. I assume they would take back, and I would still be down, because I'm down a pawn. And Stockfish is having a lot of trouble deciding what I should play, but it finally settled on b3. Not b4, b3, rook to c6, which goes after their pawn, or if they move it, gets behind it. But it says if I played that, they would play rook to a7, and I would play rook to c8. Okay, so here I should have played rook to c1. Okay, well, I don't understand that one, but as it turned out, wait, that was a blunder on their part? This is what happened. They took here, and I wasn't supposed to take back. I was supposed to go after their pawn. But I was still down a little bit. That's the only move that keeps me down a little bit. All other moves make it worse. Like that one made it worse. And I was down for quite a bit. We played, I tried to survive here, but this is what happened. Where do I go, right? If I move this pawn forward, they take it with check. I can't move that pawn. I can't move my king forward. So I thought that was the only move I had. Then, of course, I have to go back and protect that pawn, and I can't stop all their pawns from going. So it took them a little bit, but they eventually mated me here. All right. Well, that was game 3. Let's do at least one more before I run out of time. This is the 4th game, and it's going to be the last one I do in this video because I am about to run out of time. As I might have mentioned in the past, I only have so many minutes a day that I can devote to chess and or making these videos. In this game, I did lose, but I think this game might be better than the others for helping me learn chess because the graph shows there were 2 moves that made all the difference. I was ahead here, and I made a mistake, knight to c4. That wasn't what I should have played, but I'm up +1. Should I have just taken the knight or just moved this back? If I take the knight, they take back with their knight, I assume, and then they still have 2 pieces pointed here. But if I drop back, I have 2, I'm going to guess it's knight to f3 to re-defend this pawn. That's what I'm guessing. Yes, knight to f3. Okay, that's what I should have done, but what I played instead was here, which I guess gives up this pawn. My second best move, which would have kept us even, would have been to take the knight. But yeah, it was best to move back here. But instead I did that, which lets them take the pawn. And they did. And they're threatening this. I did play my best move here, which is to check. That forces a king move, which I thought was good. It would ruin their right to castle. We're still close to even. I saw the line before I looked. I'm supposed to play bishop to d2 to protect this knight. But what I played instead was that. I had plenty of time. This would have been best, this would have been second best, and both would have kept us close to 0. One is, minus 0.5, the other is -1. So yeah, definitely d2 would have been best. But instead I did that. Who knows why? My opponent would have been far better off to take here, and then when I blocked, take my bishop too, and when I took it, then they could have taken the knight. But they took, which was their second best move. And that was a mistake on my part. Okay, so 3 moves, basically. 2 mistakes and a blunder all within the space of 5 moves. Why was that bad? That was bad because they can just block with the g-pawn, and now I have 2 pieces hanging. Oh, right. And that wasn't my best move either. It does protect this, and I guess temporarily saves the bishop. It forced them here. I protected the knight again, but that... Wait, why did I do that? That was already protected. I should have saved this bishop. Oh, right? Yeah, bishop to g4 was my best move. But that didn't change the eval much, -9 to -10. My opponent's already up a piece because I gave up a piece down here and I gave up that pawn earlier. So it was just, now I'm down 2 full pieces. Okay, I got it. I learned something from that move, not necessarily from here. Well, here okay, I know that's bad. I could have kept it close to even by playing that. That makes sense. But that knight over there on d6 is safe, but this knight over here is not. I have to protect it one way or the other, probably bishop to d2, and then after that I can castle, I guess. It definitely makes it easier to go through a game when you look at the graph and there's one place where you were ahead, and then you dropped to even, and then you were even, and then you dropped to being way behind. The ones that are harder to learn something from is when there's lots of ups and downs, and so there was never one point at which you lost the game. But here there was definitely this one point at which I lost the game. The first one was that mistake, and then the second one was that blunder. I could have held on right here if I had just protected the other knight, but instead I got wild and crazy and started doing things over there. So anyway, I was behind the rest of the game, and but I think I learned something from it. I need to be more careful. That's all it is. It's frustrating to look back at this and think, wow, just a few nights ago, that's how I played, and now I'm looking at it and I know better, even sometimes without the engine helping me. But it's kind of silly to try to make excuses for things like this in the past, like, oh, it was hot, or I was tired, or any of those things. What I've got to do is focus on the future and keep reminding myself to check for which pieces are less defended than others. Backing up to my first mistake here, this piece was under fire from 2 of their pieces, and I could have easily defended it. Knight to f3. Sometimes a backwards move is the best move. Anyway, thank you for spending your time here. I'll see you next time.